I'll call Committee of the Whole back to order. Committee, we'll continue on with the motion. The motion is in order to the motion. Member for Frame Lake.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I just love this place. Here we are at, what time is this? It's 9:30 talking about salaries for MLAs. I just got to love this place. Okay, but I think there's a problem with this where MLAs are talking about their own salaries, period, anytime. I just think it's a no-winner. So what this motion would actually do is, let me take a step back. I'm okay with going to a 5-year rolling average. I think it's probably will even out some of the bumps and so on. But I just don't think we should be doing it and applying it to ourselves. It should apply to the next assembly. And that's what the effect of this motion is that it would change the implementation date for the 5-year rolling average from, I guess, Thursday of this week when the commissioner would come in here and provide assent to the bills. It would change it from on Friday to September the 4th, so it would come into effect in the next assembly. And that's generally what we do when we consider our, remuneration or things like that. We don't want it to impact our own remuneration in any way. So and I think that's a principle. Look, and I recognize in doing this that MLAs will receive a 6.8% increase as of April 1st. We don't give that to ourselves. That's already in the legislation. So it's not like we're giving ourselves an increase. That's what the legislation already says. But I do think it's a problem when MLAs start to tinker and change their own salaries while they're sitting. And I think that's a no-no. And so that's why I brought this forward, Madam Chair. I don't think it's going to pass, but I guess I'm a pretty principled guy, and I'm going to bring it forward and make everybody stand, so I'm going to ask for a recorded vote. Thanks, Madam Chair.
To the motion. Question has been called. A recorded vote has been requested. All those in favor, please stand.
The member for Frame Lake, the member for Great Slave, the member for N.W.T.
All those opposed, please stand. Opposed, please stand.
The member for Yellowknife North, the member for Nahende, the member for Yellowknife South, the member for Yellowknife Centre, the member for Hay River North, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake.
All those abstaining, please stand.
The member for Tunadé-Wellade, the member for Sahtu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik-Boot Lake.
The results of the recorded vote are 3 in favor, 8 opposed, 4 abstentions. The motion is defeated. Clause 3. Does committee agree? Committee to the bill as a whole. Does committee agree that Bill 73, an act to amend the Legislative Assembly and Executive Council Act No. 4, is now ready for third reading? Thank you, committee. Does committee agree that this concludes our consideration of Bill 73, an act to amend the Legislative Assembly and Executive Council Act Number 4? Thank you, member, and thank you to your witnesses. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the witnesses from the chamber. Committee, we've agreed to consider. Committee, we've agreed to consider Bill 76, an act to amend the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act. I will ask the sponsor of the bill, the member for Tabachit, to introduce the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am pleased to appear today on Bill 76, an act to amend the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act. The amendments proposed in this act are in response to Motion 70-19(2). Members passed that motion on November 3rd, 2023. Madam Chair, this bill amends the Electoral Boundaries Commissions Act to establish a commission within 2 years of the 2023 general election. Normally, a commission would not be required until after the 2027 general election. However, after this House rejected the recommendations from the most recent commission, it was decided to require a commission after the 2023 general election. The Act requires a commission to be set up every second assembly. If passed, commissions will now be created after the 2023 and 2031 general elections. Madam Chair, the legislation already required a commission to be created within the first 2 years of an assembly. The Act was left this way as part of the transition report. It will be recommended to the next assembly to create the commission earlier within the first 18 months. Bill 76 also expands the size of the commission. The commission has been 3 people, a current or retired judge and 2 public members. Members were concerned this did not provide enough room for a broader range of views on the commission. If passed, Bill 76 expands the members from 3 to 5 people. Bill 76 also changes who can serve as chairperson of the commission. The Act currently provides that a current or retired judge of the Supreme Court of the Northwest Territories chair the commission. Given limited judicial resources, this can be a challenge. Bill 76 allows for a current or sitting judge, but also allows for appointment of a person who is qualified to serve as a judge. This means a lawyer with more than 10 years' experience will be eligible to serve as chair. This ensures that the commission has legal knowledge at their disposal. This is important as the commission's recommendations could ultimately affect someone's constitutionally protected voting rights. Finally, in recognition of concerns raised by members and the public about riding names, Bill 76 adds geographic and place names to what the commission needs to consider when electoral boundaries and names of ridings. Finally, the bill makes minor amendments to modernize language used in the Act. This includes moving to gender-neutral language. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member, would you like to bring witnesses into the chamber? Thank you. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the witnesses into the chamber. Oh, do we have? Member, would you please introduce your witnesses?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On my left is Glenn Rutland, our Deputy Clerk, and on my right is Christine Duffy, Legislative Counsel.
Welcome. I will now open the floor to general comments on Bill 76. Member for Great Slave.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, one of the reasons that I decided to pause my want to change the name of the riding of Great Slave was the idea or the understanding that this would be included in this next go around with the Electoral Boundaries Commission, and you know, it was definitely something that they had touched upon in the last go, but not really given the importance that it was needed and really the consideration. So I'm really pleased to see that, I don't know which section it is, 6 there, clause 6, that we will be looking to have that scope included with this work. I think it's super important for us to decolonize places around the Northwest Territories, and that includes ourselves here in the Assembly. If I should be back to represent this riding in the 20th, I'd be happy to have it have a different name. And then always, I am grateful to see changes where we are no longer sticking to the binary language and moving to more inclusive. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any further general comments on Bill 76? Does the committee agree that there are no further general comments? Can we proceed to a clause-by-clause review of the bill? Committee, we will defer the bill number and title until after consideration of the clauses. Please turn to page 1 of the bill. Clause 1, does committee agree? Clause 2, does committee agree? Clause 3, does committee agree? Clause 4, does committee agree? Clause 5, does committee agree? And clause 6, does committee agree? Committee to the bill as a whole. Does committee agree that Bill 76, an act to amend the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act, is now ready for third reading? Thank you, committee. Does the committee agree that this concludes our consideration of Bill 76, an act to amend the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act? Thank you, member, and thank you to the witness, Sergeant at Arms. Please escort the witnesses from the chamber. What is the wish of committee?
Gee, I'm kind of forgetful, Madam Chair. Sorry, I'd like to ask the chair to, I move to ask, I move that the chair rise and report progress.
There's a motion on the floor to report progress. The motion is in order, non-debatable. All those in favour? All those opposed? Motion is carried. I will now rise and report progress.
May I please have the report of Committee of the Whole, member for N.W.T. Lakes.
Mr. Speaker, your committee has been very busy. It has been considering table document 813-19 brackets 2, committee report 42-19 brackets 2, committee report 48-19 brackets 2, Bill 60, Bill 66, Bill 67, Bill 73, and Bill 76. And I would like to report progress with 11 motions carried, and that committee report 42-19-2 and committee report 48-19 brackets 2 are concluded, and that bills 60, 66, 67, 73, and 76 are ready for third reading, and that consideration of table document 813-19 brackets 2 is concluded, and that the House concur in those estimates, and that appropriation bill be based on thereon to be introduced without delay. And Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the Committee of the Whole be concurred with.
Thank you, member for N.W.T. Lakes. Finished early tonight. I was expecting midnight, but do we have a seconder? Member for Yellowknife South. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Third reading of bills. Oh, so just 1 second here. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Member for Yellowknife North.
Mr. Speaker, I move, seconded by the member for Great Slave, that Bill 61, an act to amend the Ombudsman Act, be read for the third time. And Mr. Speaker, I request a recorded vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, member for Yellowknife North. The members requesting a recorded vote. Order! All those in favor, please rise.
The member for Yellowknife North, the member for Trinidad-Welliday, the member for Montfouille, the member for Great Slave, the member for Inuvik Twin Lakes, the member for Deschaux, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake, the member for Frame Lake, the member for Nunakput.
All those opposed, please rise. All those abstaining, please rise.
The member for Nahende, the member for Yellowknife South, the member for Satu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik Boot Lake, the member for Yellowknife Centre, the member for Hay River North.
Vote 11 in favor, 0 opposed, 7 abstentions. The motion is carried. Bill 61 has had third reading. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Minister responsible for education, culture, and employment.
Mr. Speaker, I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Inuvik Boot Lake, that Bill 63, an act to amend the Official Languages Act, be read for the third time. And Mr. Speaker, I request a recorded vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. The Minister has requested a recorded vote. All those in favor, please rise.
The member for Hay River North, the member for Inuvik Twin Lakes, the member for Deschaux, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake, the member for Frame Lake, the member for Nunakput, the member for Yellowknife North, the member for Trinidad-Welliday, the member for Montfouille, the member for Great Slave, the member for Nahende, the member for Yellowknife South, the member for Satu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik Boot Lake, the member for Yellowknife Centre.
All those opposed, please rise. All those abstaining, please rise. The results of the recorded vote, 18 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The motion is carried. Bill 63 has had third reading. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Minister responsible for finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Nahende, that Bill 86, Supplementary Appropriation Act, Infrastructure Expenditures, Number 3, 2022-2023, be read for a third time. Mr. Speaker, I would request a recorded vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Motion is in order to the motion. Question has been called. The Minister's requested a recorded vote. All those in favor, please rise.
The member for Yellowknife South, the member for Satu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik Boot Lake, the member for Yellowknife Centre, the member for Hay River North, the member for Inuvik Twin Lakes, the member for Deschaux, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake, the member for Nunakput, the member for Yellowknife North, the member for Great Slave, the member for Nahende.
All those opposed, please rise.
The member for Frame Lake, the member for Trinidad-Welliday, the member for Montfouille.
All those abstaining, please rise. Order. The results of the recorded vote, 15 in favor, 3 opposed, 0 abstentions. The motion is carried. Bill 86 has had third reading. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Minister responsible for finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Yellowknife Centre, that Bill 87, Supplementary Appropriation Act, Operations Expenditures, Number 3, 2022-2023, be read for the third time. Mr. Speaker, I would request a recorded vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Motion is in order to the motion. Question has been called. The Minister has requested a recorded vote. All those in favor, please rise.
The member for Yellowknife South, the member for Satu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik Boot Lake, the member for Yellowknife Centre, the member for Hay River North, the member for Inuvik Twin Lakes, the member for Decho, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake, the member for Frame Lake, the member for Nunakput, the member for Yellowknife North, the member for Tunadaweladay, the member for Montfouille, the member for Great Slave, the member for Nahende.
All those opposed, please rise. All those abstaining, please rise. The results of the recorded vote, 18 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The motion is carried. Bill 87 has had third reading. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Minister responsible for finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Inuvik Boot Lake, that Bill 88, Supplementary Appropriation Act, Infrastructure Expenditures Number 1, 2023-2024 be read for the third time. Mr. Speaker, I would request a recorded vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Motion is in order to the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? Oh, the Minister has requested a recorded vote. All those in favor, please rise.
The member for Yellowknife South, the member for Satu, the member for Range Lake, the member for Inuvik Boot Lake, the member for Yellowknife Centre, the member for Hay River North, the member for Inuvik Twin Lakes, the member for Decho, the member for Hay River South, the member for Thabacha, the member for Cam Lake, the member for Frame Lake, the member for Nunakput, the member for Yellowknife North, the member for Tunadaweladay, the member for Montfouille, the member for Great Slave, the member for Nahende.
All those opposed, please rise. All those abstaining, please rise. The results of the recorded vote, 18 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The motion is carried. Bill 88 has had third reading. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Mr. Clerk, orders of the day.
Orders of the day for Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, 1:30 p.m. Prayer, minister statements, member statements, returns to oral questions, recognition of visitors in the gallery, acknowledgements, oral questions, written questions, returns to written questions, replies to commissioner's address, petitions, reports of committees on the review of bills, reports of standing and special committees, tabling of documents, notices of motion, motions, notices of motion for the first reading of bills. First reading of bills, Bills 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, and 85-19-2. Second reading of bills, Bills 64, 77, 78, and 79-19-2. Consideration in Committee of the Whole of Bills and Other Matters, Bills 22, 29, Committee Report 47-19-2, Committee Report 49-19-2, Committee Report 50-19-2, Minister Statement 264-19-2, Table Documents 681 and 694-19-2, Report of Committee of the Whole, third reading of bills, Bills 60, 66, 67, 73, and 76. Orders of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This House stands adjourned until Wednesday, March 29th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your evening.